What's up, guys? Tim from Olsen Motorsports down here at our Naples store, Southwest Florida, Toll House in Davis, and wanted to talk a little bit today about dry ice blasting. We've seen a lot of stuff on the internet and comments on the internet like, what's the good setup for it? Does it make a lot of dust? Does it make a lot of noise? Oh my God, yes. It's probably one of the noisiest machines I've ever heard in my life. But man, the results are ridiculous. So I'll just do a quick walkthrough of how we have our dry ice set up, some of the components that we're using. So right now, I'm actually in our engine room here. So engine room's got to stay, pretty clean, and dry ice is just on the other side. And we don't have a big problem with a lot of dirt and dust, even though this thing makes a mess. So if I come over here, you see the top of our air compressor. There's a little bit on there, but I don't think it's ever been wiped down. And then if you come over here on top of our cabinets, we go up here and look, I don't think this has ever been wiped down. It's not terrible. It's just regular dust from, the air being circulated around a busy shop. So how we make that happen is we have these 16-foot tall floor-to-ceiling curtains here. They're on retractable tracks, so it'll wrap all the way around the corner there. And then this one here comes off of this wall, and it meets in the middle, and I'll show you guys that in a second. And then it's got these little skirts on the bottom. So these little skirts here on the bottom kind of drag on the floor. And if you just close that and start going crazy with the dry ice blaster, it still does make a mess. The key is you gotta wet the floor down. Because the dry ice makes such a mess, all that stuff just kind of vaporizes and hangs in the air and then falls on the ground. So if you look here at the garage door opener, this has never been cleaned, and it's just disgusting. So we're able to keep most of that dust contained in the same room. So our dry ice setup, obviously the beast behind it is our Kaishan KRSB 40. It's a 40 horsepower single stage rotary 190 CFM compressor. I don't want to know about how much it costs. It was crazy. And it's fully automatic. You just come in here, press the button, you set your target pressure of where you want to be. PSI wise, we can go up to 160 PSI, and it's 190 CFM. And then the feed for that, it's three-phase. The feed for that is 1.25" air lines. So we have all aluminum 1.25" air lines. And then we have two filters. We have this pre-filter here, which is massive. And then we have another filter over there. And then we have a bypass if we want to bypass around it. So that comes out. And then we have LG AirMate, just a real refrigerator dryer here. Like I said, this comes out of here, and then all these are automatic drain. So they all drain into this little silicone tank right here. And then we have a 160-gallon auxiliary air tank, also with an automatic drain. So that automatic drain feeds back over here into this, and then this overflows and then goes out into the floor on that side. So it's a pretty, 1.25" airlines supply all the way up, and then it tees in up here, comes back around into a drop into our dry ice bay. So that one, I've got shutoffs everywhere, hose reels and shutoffs. I got a shutoff here, and then another 1.25" whip line into our cold jet. So we're using the cold jet PCS 60 with all the attachments. So this one here, I've got the big guy. So this is I have a couple different attachments for this. We've got this short one here, which is, 16 inches long. And then we have a 3-foot long one that comes all the way out. So if you're trying to reach up high and get something, this one here, we can run up to the 3mm piece size, and we can run up to 3 pound per minute feed rate on this one, and up to 160 CFM, or 160 PSI, I'm sorry, on that gun. We never go that heavy with it, but when you're doing something like an engine bay, you can turn the piece size down to 0.3, 0.4, so it's a really big, snowy, powdery. Turn the volume up to like 2.5, 2.7, something like that, and then turn the PSI up, and it just creates this, you know, this snow. I call it snow, but it really gets in all the crevices and cleans nice. And then you follow it up with a detail gun, and then the decal gun is much smaller. It's 3/4 on this one, and then it's got a couple different attachments on this small gun. So this small gun, this one right here is like a little Cyclone one, works really good for getting in tight crevices and little areas that, you know, that these guns here, they're way more focused. So you have to focus exactly on whatever you're trying to do, and you'll miss little ridges. Like on here, this is the bottom of a Porsche. So if you just go with the big gun, you just spray it, you'll miss that little tiny crevice. You have to angle the gun back and get it. But you can take that little detail gun and hit it, and it'll get it out. And then it works good for getting in the little tight crevices like this, little holes and stuff like that. So this car is a 79 930. It's probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen in person. Turn this camera around and show you. This one's bad. It's just, you know, it's got a lot of mileage on it. The aluminum, you can't hardly even see that the aluminum is there. All this is just caked on dirt. So what we'll do on this car, we'll do a quick little demonstration and show. We've already done the back, so here's a line. Everything from here back is done, and here's just the line of dirt, grime, and grunge. A little bit of Cosmoline on it, but like I said, from here back, the whole rest of the car is done, and it just turns out incredible. So look at the difference here. So I've got this gun here on, and then I'll turn my feed rate. Let me turn this light off. So on this one, I'll go 2 pounds a minute. I'll go 2.1 pieces, and I'll do 110 psi on that. Turn on my air here. I'm gonna get my ground strap on. If you do not use this ground strap, it will really cause you a lot of headache. First time I ever did this, I shocked myself so bad, I think I jumped out of my skin. So we'll just throw this guy on here. That'll be good enough. Fire up my air compressor, and then I'll get this guy going, and I'll throw a couple passes. I got the GoPro set up on here, so we'll see what it looks like.
You just make one quick pass down through here, and then once you've made one quick pass down through here, it kind of freezes it. That's super cold to the touch. Knocks the top of the layer of dirt off. Then you make another pass to come down, and that cleans it back up. And you can see here how this is really directional. This only gets, you know, what's it's pointed at. So you got to come back, turn the gun around, and come back the other way. You can see here. So the key to this is you can't spend too much time in one spot as you change what this under 30 looks like. So I'm always moving because there's so much power and so much pace coming back. I'm always moving, so I'll just make one quick pass down, come back, and then one quick pass down and hit it again. So if you notice, I've got the door cracked open down here, and I leave the door crack open to get some of this, you know, dust and all that stuff out of here. And then also, if you notice, this is really dirty. So it looks like we're just spreading all of the dirt around, which is kind of the case. But all we have to do is grab our hose, hose it off, and then I'll switch my gun to just air only mode and dry it. do go back and clean it by hand with a scrub brush, which is the final cleaning process. So put the mask back on, and let's see what this does to the aluminum part. So these are all aluminum up here. The rack is aluminum, this is aluminum, the cross member is aluminum, and then these are steel. So let's go ahead and clean that up, see what it did to the hose. The hose is perfect. You can still read the Goodyear Galaxy on it. It's completely safe for rubber, so let's see what it does to the aluminum. Actually a green strut. So we got all of the dirt off. This is the other side. We got all the dirt off, and there's one of the original green struts, one of the original zinc plated vacuum plates. You have to be super careful when you're doing any kind of shock absorbers or brake lines or power steering lines or anything, especially shocks. You have to be super careful that you're moving all of the time. You can't stay in one spot, because if you stay in one spot and you try to freeze it, then you're creating condensation on the inside of the part. You know, these aren't really rebuildable, you know, in terms of just quick dry ice blast. So if you're doing that, you have to keep moving. You cannot stay in one spot just to minimize your condensation buildup. So this one, the steering rack, is really lustery. This is not so lustery. At some point in time, this was sandblasted. The worst possible thing you can do to aluminum is sandblast, because then it just leaves it somewhat porous. But do a little bit more here until we run out of battery. So it looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna switch. You see how we just blew a bunch of dirt back where we cleaned? We'll fix that with the hose. And now I'm gonna switch to the little gun and show you how to get some of the details.
So now that we have a lot of the big field work done, we're going to switch out our big gun here to our little gun here. It's super easy to do. We just hit our machine here, unplug this, unplug that, and grab our other gun. Trying to do this one-handed and hold the camera is fun. This has a really, really handy auto sport connector on it, so can't screw it up. And then this one we have to turn way down, so we can't run this much pressure. We have to run this down to 0.8 is the highest we can go. Run about 1.8. Then we'll run about 70 psi on this setting. Get our big gun out of the way. See all the dirt all over the floor, but it's not really rough. It doesn't get it too terribly dirty. you can see how that more precise nozzle will get into some of these more, you know, delicate crevices right here and clean up a lot of that stuff up there that the other one didn't do. So we find it super handy to do that. Plus up in here on these delicate hoses over here, you just use that little wand to get it through. So that's kind of a brief overview on, you know, what dry ice blasting is, what our setup is, how it's all set up. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down into the bio, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching.